Hello everyone, it's George from Ireland, and I'm in front of a little bit of Ireland. That is the Pontifical Irish College in Rome, which was founded in 1628. Sorry, not Rome, the college was, just to make that absolutely clear. So it was founded by a cardinal who was put in charge of reviving Catholicism in Ireland, because it's almost a century after the disestablishment of the Catholic Church in Ireland, and the Church of Ireland was set up. The Church of Ireland seized all the ecclesiastical property. The dissolution of the monasteries had taken place in Ireland in the 1630s. The actual church buildings were used by the Church of Ireland. A reformed church, which is simply a carbon copy of the Church of England. So the Catholic community, with the majority in Ireland, were left without buildings, had to sort of start building new ones. All the historic sites the Church of Ireland had seized, even though they had no more than 20% of the population as their communicants. So trying to bring back Catholicism, and the Catholic majority we were discriminated against in Ireland, but because we're such a large majority, certainly outside Dublin or outside the northeast, that we hung on fairly well. Now, Ludovico Ludovisi was the cardinal who helped to found this, and he was a cardinal nephew, as to say his uncle had been Pope Benedict the 14th, have I got that right, who died 3 years earlier, because the Catholic Church is the organisation which gave us the word nepotism. So because the popes were appointing so many of their close blood relatives to high ecclesiastical offices, this became ridiculous, like making them archbishops at the age of 18 and things. So they didn't want to ban the practice altogether. I'm not sure why not, but they said we'll just have to limit it. You can have one nephew you can appoint, because of course they're supposed to be celibate, not have children of their own, and not appoint them to high offices. If they did have natural children, then the Borgias broke that. So you got it in Irish and Italian, the name of this. So it wasn't founded on this site. This is the third site that it's been at, and the original site is Via delle Ibernesi, as in Hibernians. And there were a number of Irish colleges around Europe to educate seminarians. There's still Rue des Irlandais in Paris. The former Irish college there is really just a cultural centre. So you don't have to be Irish to go here. We're just speaking to two seminarians who are Oriental gentlemen in there. There are quite a few American students as well. So I think you're usually actually a priest before you go there, but they're doing postgraduate studies. There's a chapel, you can get married there, and so on. Unfortunately, you can't stay there if you're a pilgrim. I thought it'd be a way to raise money for it. We have very few Catholic priests in Ireland these days. So and just the blessed Oliver Plunkett was a student there. Paul Cullen, the very first Irish cardinal, he was also seminarian here. So go to wherever your diocesan seminary is in Ireland, and if you're the real cream of the crop who come here to finish off your education, remember how rare travel was then, because that was one of the splendid things about the Catholic Church being an international organisation. Had I been born 2 generations earlier, perhaps I would have come here as well, because that was the most honourable thing you could do, and unless you're wealthy, it's the only way to access higher education. And then France invaded Italy in the 1790s, and they conquered northern Italy. And in 1798, Napoleon came down here. Other French troops. He was going to Egypt about this time, May 1798. And so the month after the United Irishmen began their rebellion in Ireland, the French were here. They later took Pope Clement VII as a prisoner, tried to manipulate him for their own ends. So ironically, the government of Great Britain was actually more pro-Catholic than the government of France, and the United Irishmen were rising with French assistance. Now, the United Irishmen is obviously a interdenominational organisation. Most of its leaders were men in the Church of Ireland. So the government of Great Britain was subsidising the Catholic Church in Ireland, Maynooth, founded in 1795, even though we weren't actually part of the UK at that time, but it was not entirely disinterested, with a view to buying the loyalty of the Catholic hierarchy, and in that it was semi-successful, at least in the short term. So the Irish College was suppressed in 1798 by the French authorities in Rome, and it was only revived in 1826, so just before its bicentenary, and has kept going ever since. But it moved again from another site here. Look at this ancient gateway, a bit of the old walls of Rome. So it's got lawns. You can see it's rather large, but it doesn't have that many students anymore. There's a Scots college, there's an English college, is right beside this hospital, useful should you fall ill. But unfortunately it's not open to the public unless you're going to hear Mass on Sunday, and then you can socialise with the students there. So I just saw a female student walking around there in lay clothes. Maybe she works in there. Anything else I should tell you about this? Yeah, there used to be lots of foreign colleges. There still are a few, like a German college, an American college, a French college, and so on. So part of the Venerabile, or some part of the Pontifical University. Anything else I should tell you? Well, really, that's probably it. The Irish College in Rome and the Irish pub. Well, one of them on Merulana is very close by. I'm not sure the seminarians go in there to refresh themselves after a hard day at the books, but I did see some priests there in clericals, dog collars and all, drinking, but they didn't seem to be Irish. Okay, so that's just probably a little enough from the Irish College here in Rome. How highly delightful it is. Okay, I shall turn it off now. Goodbye, everyone.